face you.
Quick, so we got Trick Room. So Trick Room is not that great either. Trick Room is kind of hindered by a couple other things. You kind of got to deal with what's it called? You got to deal with weather as well, and again just like HO. So those three, and even BO, but BO you can kind of sit up with BO, but against HO and well actually Trick Room can beat HO. Trick Room can actually beat HO. But weather could kind of body Trick Room if you don't get the Trick Room up right away. And even the Trick Room monsters that are like here right now, they kind of get messed up by Sun anyway. Again, Bronzong being one of the main ones. So there's that. There's definitely that. There aren't too many Trick Room mons in this meta right now. Definitely these three are the best ones. As you can see, these are probably the best ones right now. I guess you could add a Mimikyu as well. But I don't know. For me personally, I don't use Mimikyu. Just because I don't think it's really that great. As a Trick Room setter, even as a mon in general, it's really not that great. But yeah, that pretty much pretty much this mon is meant to be a sweeper in Trick Room. As you can set up a Trick Room and then get off some really strong psychics and mythical fires to deal with the steals, and also Dazzling Gleam to just hit everything else. Again, dealing with the other dragons and the other dark types too. And then Bronzong is more like a suicide is more like a suicide Trick Room lead. As you can either put the things to sleep or you Trick Room and then boom, and then you go into your abuser. Then we have Reuniclus, which is a really good sweeper on Trick Room with Life Orb. As one, they can't see that you're Life Orbed, and two, it just hits very hard with the Life Orb. Again, you have so much coverage for Reuniclus. Reuniclus is definitely one of my favorite mons to use in this meta too. It's because it has other roles it can do as well outside of Trick Room. But on Trick Room specifically, it's meant to be a sweeper. So you run Psychic, Shadow Ball. You could run Shadow Ball. You can run again, this mon has a lot of coverage options, so you could pretty much do whatever order you want. But you have to have Trick Room so you could still get your Trick Room up if need be and still be able to get damage off. You could also run Recovery with it too. But I think if you want to just go straight up offensive, you don't have to run Recover. So you can just go straight up offensive and run Trick Room, Psychic, Focus Blast, and then some other coverage move to deal with Corviknight, or deal with steals specifically. Or I guess Focus Blast deals with that anyway, but Psychic and fighting coverage is actually pretty good here too. So again, it could just be a filler move if anything. So yeah. Then Surfetch, again, like I mentioned before, it's pretty strong too on Trick Room, as it's pretty slow. Again, base 65 is pretty good on Trick Room, so it's able to outspeed a lot of mons in the tier anyway. So CC just dominates them with Trick Room up, and pretty much just invalidates them. It just destroys them pretty effectively. Again, you just run Brave Nature on this, so that way you get the most out of it with the investment, or with the nature, and then you're able to outspeed a lot of stuff and then just CC things. And then Copper is another really good Trick Room setter, or Trick Room abuser, as its speed tier is very bad. It's base 30, so you can take advantage of that and just go for Heat Crashes. Could go for Power Whip to deal with Toad, Quake as well. Heavy Slam, Iron Head, Sheer Force boosted with Life Orb. It's gonna be doing some damage with Trick Room up, so it's pretty reliable in that regard. So yeah, that pretty much covers Copper. Again, this is the common I was gonna say EV spread, the common set that you would run into it, or that you would run on it. You could run Iron Head, again, like I said before, Whip, Heat Crash to deal with Corviknight and other steals, and that last move, if you want a way to deal with Rotom, you could run Stone Edge on it or Rock Slide. That's also an option. So you could do that if you really want to. But the last move is pretty much up to you. It could be whatever it could be whatever you want it to be. It could be Quake or anything. Granted, I don't think Quake isn't really that good, as you already have like coverage to deal with steel anyway. So I think Rock Slide is probably a better option in my opinion. So I'll say Rock Slide for now, just because it deals with just because it can deal with deal with Rotom. And then lastly we have Reuniclus, which is another suicide Trick Room lead. But it's more like a last ditch one. So what you can do with it is that you can set up a Trick Room. Then you could go for Memento, lower their attack and special attack. Then you can bring in your setup you can bring in your Reuniclus or something for free, and then just go crazy with it, because they'll be weak. Because they'll be weakened and they can't do much back. They can't do much back to you, so they'll be forced out or whatever. Yeah, you could just run Trick Room with this. So again, Trick Room, Quake, Memento, and then probably like Rocks or something. If you still want Rocks. But again, Bronzong is more of an option for Rocks. You could put T-Spikes on this too. Again, dealing with fatter stuff. But those are just options that you have. Or you could run Willow too. Get more options. But that pretty much covers Trick Room. So again, it's not as good as it was last gen, because again, with last gen, you had a lot more abusers. You had Mega Mawile, you had Magearna, you had even Mega Camerupt too, which was really, really good. Probably better than the other two, just because of how much damage output you get off it. If you land the Fire Blast, of course. But still, Camerupt Mega Camerupt was a very good wall breaker on Trick Room. You could have ran Mega Abomasnow too, and it would have done decently too. But yeah, that pretty much covers Trick Room.